Good afternoon, Year 5, and welcome to your next reading for pleasure time. Yesterday we finished by talking about David Beckham and being a famous failure and building up to be a better footballer and be able to do more kick-ups. Today we're going to read a little bit more, starting with the appetite for hard work. Human calculators. What people think. You're either good at maths or you're not. Some people have a brain for numbers, and some can do the most extraordinary calculations in their heads. While you and I might struggle with 9 times 12, Shuletar Devini, born in Bangalore in 1929, when TV had barely been invented and no one had ever thought of mobiles, she could multiply two 13-digit numbers together in her head. Something like 6984701679 times 8354123953691. She did that in 28 seconds flat. The facts. When we see a human calculator, or even someone in class who is much better than we are at maths, it's easy to think it must be down to some kind of talent or gift. That the answer appear in their heads as if put there by some maths fairy. But is there a fairy? Or a set of inborn gifts? Or is there a method? Is there a way of practicing this skill? I think there is. Let's have a go. Don't groan. Where's your growth mindset for your maths mojo? Let's start with 23 times 17. My friend actually got asked this in an interview once for a job. She got the question right, but didn't get the job. We never understood why. Can you do it in your head then? Probably. Possibly. Possibly not. Step 1. 10 times 23 makes 230. Let's call that your subtotal. Remember this. Come on, that's not too tricky. Step 2. 20 times 7 is 140. Step 3. Add 140 to the 230 in your head to make 370. Remember this now. This is your new subtotal. Step 4. An easy one. 7 times 3, which makes 21. Step 5. Add 370 to 21 to get your final answer, 391. Bingo. All of a sudden, there are 5 relatively easy steps and you've got the answer. The only tricky bit is remembering the process to follow and then at each stage remembering the subtotal to keep adding to. So hang on. You have to do some times tables. We know these. And remember, one subtotal at a time. That's all. That's it. Where's the maths fairy in all of this? Suddenly, this all seems a lot less tricky, doesn't it? Maybe those human calculators don't have superhuman genes after all. Now, granted, there are a few more steps involved if you are trying to multiply 123 by 456. And even more if you are doing 6984701679 multiplied by 8354123953691. But the method can be exactly the same. And the method is not that hard if you want to give it a go. It's not always people who start out the smartest who end up the smartest, says Professor Carol Dweck. We learned about her, we read about her before. Checkout challenge. A French scientist took 2 children known as human calculators or maths prodigies and compared their ability to multiply 3-digit numbers together. For example, 768 multiplied by 376, with a group of checkout cashiers from a French supermarket, Bon Marché. The cashiers had worked at the supermarket for 14 years and had no gift for maths other than the practice of calculating the prices of goods they sold each day. This was back in 1826, well before anyone had a calculator, let alone a cash ton. And so they did all of the addition in their heads. The supermarket staff were better and faster than the child prodigies. 14 years of purposeful practice had honed their math skills. What talent really looks like. Here are some of the more common words and phrases that a successful individual or team would associate with their achievements. Belief, being positive, practice, open-minded, effort, confidence, learning again and again, making thousands of mistakes, challenging yourself. So the next time you witness a human do something seemingly out of this world, imagine yourself in their shoes. Remind yourself how much work has gone into this moment and how they started from the same point as everyone else, with a dream and the determination to make it come true. We are now well underway in our mission to be awesome. We're in a growth mindset of neural connections, or our neural connections are growing faster than Justin Bieber's fan club. And we know the best ways to practice. It does take a while to get good at stuff. There is quite a lot of practice involved. But that's okay. We're up for the challenge, aren't we? So let's go. Over to you, getting good at stuff, your essential toolkit. So you've started to shape your growth mindset, tick. You've started to view mistakes not as failures, but as learning opportunities, 2 ticks. You're prepared to put in tons of challenging practice to improve, 3 ticks. Your growth mindset mantra. Remind yourself of these key steps if things start to get a bit tricky. I'm going to practice hard. I'm going to stick at it. I'm going to be positive about it. And I'm really proud of it. Chapter 6. Small steps and giant leaps. It had been the match of our lives. The 2016 Olympic final. But it wasn't over. The game had ended in a draw and the GB women's hockey team were facing a tense penalty shootout. They had already pulled off some spectacular plays during the match, but the team needed to dig deep for a few more minutes if they were to take home the gold. The crowd watched. The fans at home held their breath. The players calmly stepped up, and they did it. Helen Richardson-Walsh and Holly Webb scored the decisive penalties that sealed their place in history. The team went wild. The players had given their all, and it had paid off. But it hadn't always been this way. At the Olympics in Athens in 2004, GB didn't even qualify to send a women's hockey team. In Beijing, they came 6th. There was a long way to go, and people thought fixed mindset things about GB's hockey ability. We're not cut out for it, they'd say. In London in 2012, things were looking up and the team won a bronze medal. But then disaster struck. Their coach retired and the team lost focus. They came 11th at the World Cup in 2014. It was a huge setback, and the next Olympics in Rio was only 2 years away. It was going to be a mega task to get the team mojo back, let alone win a medal, and gold was a distant dream. Something had to be done, so the team made a plan. They had seen the success of the British rugby and cycling teams and what they had with something called marginal gains. Marginal what, I hear you ask? Marginal gains sound quite complicated, but it's actually a super simple and brilliant idea. We'll learn more tomorrow about marginal gains. See you then.